Welcome to WES Insights. We'd like to introduce you to a new piece of WES analysis for divisions called key drivers. In this video, we'll show you how you can use them to identify areas for improvement and celebration within your division. The WES reports organize and analyze survey results in a variety of ways. However, sometimes it can be difficult to identify next steps, even when you understand the data. The key drivers analysis aims to help divisions understand which drivers are directly impacting your division's engagement score the most, both positively and negatively. Knowing what the key drivers are for your division can help focus efforts on where to make improvements and what to recognize as accomplishments. This analysis will identify 3 or 4 drivers to celebrate and drivers to improve for your division. We consider a few different criteria when deciding which drivers should be celebrated and which ones need improvement. It's not as simple as looking at the highest or lowest scores, although that's important too, but there are other factors worth considering. For instance, we consider percentile scores for your division, which gives us an idea of how your division compares to all the other work units in the BC Public Service. We also compare your division's scores and percentiles to your organization's scores and percentiles for a more local comparison. Lastly, we use a couple of statistical tests to see which drivers are impacting your division's engagement score the most, including correlations, and for larger divisions, regression analysis. All of these factors combined give us a good sense of which drivers are the most important for your division. Here's an example showing you the feline division's drivers to improve and drivers to celebrate. The table shows you each driver's mean score and percentile ranking, as well as your organization's scores for comparison. You'll notice that we also list each driver's correlation with engagement. These drivers all have high or very high correlation with engagement scores, meaning changes to these driver scores would be more likely to impact your division's engagement score than other drivers with lower correlation. While the feline division has exactly 3 drivers to celebrate and 3 to improve, your own division may have fewer than this. In rare cases where there is a tie, you may even see a 4th driver listed. If your own division has fewer than 3, we encourage you to go to the Pathways Guide to help you choose other drivers that you feel make sense for your division. You can find the guide at www.gov.bc.ca/assets/gov/data/government/wes/pathways_guide.pdf. Looking more closely at the table, you might wonder why drivers with high scores can appear as a driver to improve. They may not be in bad shape, but the analysis determined that there was still room for improvement. For example, each of these drivers in the feline division have lower percentile scores than those of the organization, meaning that they might be lagging behind the rest of their organization in these areas. The same can be true for drivers to celebrate. The analysis might identify some drivers with lower scores as accomplishments. This can happen if these scores compare quite well against scores of other work units or against your organization's scores. Sometimes being comparatively good at something can be an accomplishment. Now let's look at another division's key drivers table. The canine division has 3 drivers listed as drivers to improve, all of which have relatively low percentile scores. But you'll notice that the division doesn't seem to have any drivers to celebrate. This just means that the analysis couldn't clearly identify which drivers fit well in this category. That doesn't mean there's nothing to celebrate, but you may wish to work together as a division to identify these areas yourselves. In larger divisions, you may also see 1 or more drivers listed as a notable driver, like we see here. These are drivers that have been identified as statistically important, but can't be clearly categorized as having a positive or negative influence on engagement. They've been flagged for you so you're aware of them and can choose to explore whether or not to include them in your engagement strategy. Think of them as drivers with untapped potential. As a final thought, the key drivers analysis can be useful in helping you determine which drivers will be best to focus on improvement efforts or to highlight as accomplishments. But ultimately, the decision on how to use this information is up to you. If your division feels strongly that a different driver ought to be celebrated or targeted for ways to improve, then go with it. Also, we've done our best to identify up to 3 drivers in each category for you to work with, but it's perfectly acceptable to focus on fewer or more drivers as you see fit. At a minimum, we hope that the key drivers analysis can be a conversation starter. Thank you for taking the time to learn about key drivers and how they can impact engagement for your division. We hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions about content in this video or about anything else related to WES, please email us at work.environment.survey@gov.bc.ca. Thank you.